And welcome to Fisher Middle School. Some of you, I see some faces that I know you've possibly had students that have come through before, so you'll hear a little bit more, see if things have changed or not. Some of you, I was just back there talking to someone saying there's something about Ewing. Yes, there is something about Ewing. It's a wonderful place. And as I look around, as I have an equal classmate back there, class of 82, someone else, class of 83. I actually have some of my ex-students out here, all right, etc., as they're waving hands at me and everything else. There's something about Ewing that brings us all back and believes in the township as well as in the schools. So I say that being a product of Ewing schools, it was wonderful for me, and it's going to be wonderful for your children as well to continue through Fisher Middle School. For some of you that I said I taught, you were here when it was a junior high, all right, as a 7, 8, 9 school. Some of us that went through, it was just an 8, 9 school. Now we are truly 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and that is where we work from. Tonight we just want to give you a quick overview. I know as your children begin to leave elementary school, there starts to be a little bit more nervousness as far as what's going to happen at the big old middle school. And yes, it is a big building, all right, but we certainly make sure that grade level wise that the kids are not really having to, for those of you that did go here, maybe having a class all the way down in A10, having to get all the way upstairs to the furthest corner and do it in 3 minutes without running. Okay, we're making sure the kids have minimal movement so that we are maximizing more time in the classroom along those lines. So as far as tonight, the leadership team, I am Ms. Brower. I am the building principal for a few more months. For those of you that have not heard, I will be retiring after 31 years. All right, so again, as much as I believe in the education, I believe it's now also time. I've done my bit, and it's time for others to take over. I work closely with my assistant principal, Mr. Dwyer. All right. We have 2 deans of students. I have Ms. Erica Freeman and Mr. Kevin Bonner. And with us tonight joining, we have a guidance department that has 3 counselors, and one of the counselors is here with us tonight, Ms. Maurisa Thomas. And she currently works with the 8th grade. What we do is we make sure we have the counselors work with a group of students. You not having to get used to a new counselor each year as far as understanding if there was academic problems, family problem, whatever it may have been. Ms. Thomas is then following that all the way through. So we are there with that. Our mission at Fisher Middle School, and I state this kind of with a little asterisk. Right now we are currently working since our mission was probably done when I was an assistant principal here, so we're talking over 15 years ago. As members of the Fisher family, we expect stakeholders, that includes you, as well as the students, the staff, to be responsible, accountable for the academic, social, emotional, physical development. We are currently looking at, while keeping this, and we believe in this, we're looking to add a little bit more to it because we always sit there and try and say how it's going to be accomplished. Well, things have changed in the past 15 years, all right? There is certainly much more technology, much more social aspect that we have to take care of within the buildings. So some of that we want to incorporate a little bit more into our mission. So that will be something that will be brand new for the 2017 school year. All right, but when you see it, you do have a role in our mission, all right, because we're trying to make sure that we have school and family. Our PTO, FPA, Fisher Parent Association, President Ms. DeLutis was out there greeting you with an event already that is happening. We're looking for, we always want students who are engaged in active learning. The curriculum is all there. So all of this you have access to, part of, and want to be a part of. All right, so we're going to kind of keep flipping around here tonight and kind of get you to understand a little bit how 6th grade is different from what your elementary students are doing right now. So, Mr. Dwyer.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming tonight. This is a valuable time for us to share and to brag a little about our school. Some of you I do know. I've been here with Ms. Brower for 11 years. I also live in Ewing Township. My oldest son is a 7th grader currently in the building, and I should be sitting next to you because I also have a 5th grade son at Parkway who will be rising up. So I am with you in the journey as we strive to be the very best parents. So let me give you my plea early. Please, I beg of you, just because you're leaving your students behind in elementary school, don't leave us. Stay with us in middle school. Your students desperately need you to stay in touch with their parents, and every good habit that you've done with the elementary school teachers, we would love for you to continue to do likewise here at Fisher Middle School. For some reason, parents think that the battle is almost over, but it's not quite over. We have a lot more to go, so please stay with us. Now that's the end of my soapbox. Let me move on. Let's talk about the hours of operation and some of the distinctions. The students are really happy because they see the end part, but not the beginning part. So our day does end at 3:05, but our day begins at 8:05. Students are considered late after morning announcements. Morning announcements, our Pledge of Allegiance starts at 8:25. Our breakfast program is offered daily, 7:45. Our doors are open to receive students and they can go down to the breakfast program. We also offer EDP. We do not offer morning EDP, only afternoon EDP. Now I'm going to hand this off to Ms. Freeman, who is one of our wonderful deans of students.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I shall meet you there. I said good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Come talk to me. So, welcome. We look forward to working with your children for 8 hours a day or 7 hours a day become our children. And one of the things that they will have to get used to, changing classes. Now, as Ms. Brower mentioned earlier, they're not going all over the places. They are housed by team. And so their academic classes are typically on the same hallway. And so they're literally going from one door to another door. However, they will need to travel a little further if they are headed to PE or an enrichment class, and those will be explained later. Now here we provide opportunities, as you can see, to build academic strength. We have opportunities for them to develop their social skills, to nurture emotional growth, and instill responsibilities. Our teachers work hard to meet the whole child, not just the academic, but the social, also the behavioral, and the emotional. Lunch with friends. Your children get completely excited about this. This is probably one of the highlights of their presentation when they come to do their tour, because they are now used to eating with their class, whereas when they get here, they get to go to they have a designated cafeteria, but they can eat wherever they wish. The same concept applies. They still have the cards that they use. You can still put money on their account. I am asking you though, parents, please monitor their accounts, because sometimes you send them to school with money to buy lunch and all they're doing is buying snacks. So just make sure you're keeping a close eye on that. Team seating, we mentioned. Every Wednesday we have a SOAR activity day, and that's where, because unfortunately they don't have recess here, we use our PE period as a time frame for them to get that recess time, that connection and that movement. But we do provide an opportunity every Wednesday for our children to use their SOAR bucks that they've earned to buy extra time to go out into Ryan's Garden or go to the gymnasium and play basketball. And we can move forward. Physical education, PE class, your baby. Second biggest cheer, because they get to take PE every day. So that is important for you guys to just, your children will need a combination lock. So they're going to actually have 2 lockers this year. Their locker where they house their outer garments in their book bag, but they're also going to be given a gym locker. So make sure you buy those combination locks, not key, but combination locks. Practice over the summer so that they are ready to rock and roll when they arrive in September. They need to have their basic t-shirts, bottoms, athletic sneakers. They must change every day. Please stress that. They must change every day. As the weather increases and it becomes warmer and your children grow, it can be a bit arduous trying to stay focused in the classroom. So just make sure that, not only are they changing every day, but please, on Thursday say, don't forget to bring your clothes home. Friday morning before you send them out, don't forget to bring your clothes home. I am passing the mic back to Mr. Dwyer.
Thank you, Ms. Freeman. Several years ago, we redid our whole schedule, so I'm going to walk through some of the highlights of that. Ms. Freeman mentioned the idea of physical education class every day. But to highlight our curriculum, we offer core classes of language arts, and within language arts, we have three components. We have humanities, that would be our Gifted and Talented program, or our ACE, as it's referred to in the elementary school. We also have Tier 2 support, and that is a classroom that has 2 certified language arts teachers as a way to support some of our struggling readers or writers. Then we also have Tier 3 support. That is an additional 41-minute period every other day offered again to students who need additional support in the area of language arts. In mathematics, we have the same offerings. We have our honors, that would be AIM. Then we also include the Tier 2 and the Tier 3 support for mathematics as well. Science and social studies are very similar to elementary school, except we offer it by semester for your students. Instead of every other quarter at the elementary level, we do it first semester and second semester. So one of the great things for students when we adjusted the schedule is they're only coming home typically with 3 subjects of homework every day, instead of our old system actually had 5 subjects that they could be coming home with. And then we already mentioned physical education. So some of the highlights or overview of our schedule, we have a daily homework period that starts right at 8:25 with the pledge, and then it's a 7-minute time for us to kind of go through, get organized with the students. Daily PE, we've mentioned. Daily enrichment class that follows an alternate A-B schedule. I'll explain and highlight a little bit more of that because we're very proud of the offerings we have. Grade level lunches. So how many new parents do we have to Fisher Middle School in the audience? So one of the fears, are they going to be around those big, huge 8th graders? We recognize that as a concern. So we do our very best to limit the interaction. So it's a grade level lunch. When they go to lunch, the only people they pretty much see are their peers in 6th grade. So, and if you're interested in taking a tour, we'll show you our building. We'll show you how, for the most part, the vast majority of their day is within our 6th grade area. So we are cognizant of the fact that that is the concern of parents. Usually the students are over that in about 3 weeks or so, but we recognize that as a concern. Another thing we're very proud of, actually I skipped one, the block schedule. So we do have a block schedule for all of our grade levels. One of the reasons we did that was to increase our mathematics seat time. Another reason was to prepare the students as best as we could for the high school who follows a block schedule format. I'm going to walk you through a couple of sample schedules. I think you'll see it a little bit more clearly. But another thing we're proud of is that our students and you guide them to make their enrichment selections. We offer a lot of options. We look for our students to choose their selections and then also give us a couple of alternates so that we can honor and get them exactly with the courses that they want. And then a key component, we offer support for struggling students. So here is a sample schedule. This is for student John, and as I said, he starts his day in homeroom, and then he is going to go for period 1 and 2 for 6th grade. Period 1 and 2 is a continuous block, no interruptions, so that would be 41 minutes, an additional 41 minutes in the same class period. John happens to have English language arts, but he's a humanities student. So he's our Gifted and Talented program for language arts. The 3rd period bell rings, and for John, he's headed to physical education. Again, that's every single day. So John's headed there. The next bell rings, and John is headed to math class. After math, this is a regular math class. After math, For period 4, the next bell rings and John is headed to lunch. That is the whole 6th grade headed to lunch. That occurs at 11:23 is their lunch. Then this is a split block. So after lunch, John's headed back to math class to continue the second portion of his 82-minute math class. The next bell rings, and for John, in semester 1, he is headed to social studies. Again, that's a continuous block. He's going to do a full 82 minutes there. Then he's going to head to band, because he's a band student on A days. He's going to go to band, and that's full year. But he struggles a little bit in math. So during the first semester, on his B day, he's going to go to Tier 3 math every other day to get a little additional support within math. The only change would be in second semester. We would highlight that instead of going to social studies, he's going to go to science. Instead of going to Tier 3 math, he's going to a different enrichment entitled Healthy Living. I'll quickly go through all of these. I'm sure you can't read these. So let me give an advertisement. If you would go onto our Fisher Middle School website under the guidance department, you can pull up the copy of our course catalog for the enrichment offerings for 6th grade. There's also a catalog there for 7th grade and 8th grade if you want to see a snapshot of what is to come. But when we redid our schedule, I should say in the olden days, students had a choice, really, of do you want Spanish or do you want French? That was the choice that they were given. Other than that, they rotated through about 8 different potential courses. We've increased that by over 300%. And what we did is we wanted to take some relevant courses that we believe are important, we believe that are student-centered. We want to also expose students to a variety of different topics. So we're very proud of what we have done. You'll see courses such as history through film, history of jazz, music technology, robotics, computer animation, introduction to painting. We have an advanced art class, digital citizenship. There are so many courses here, and again, our goal is to hopefully expose your son and daughter to courses that would interest them, that they would have a passion about. So that is going to be one of your homework assignments. They're going to come to visit us after spring break, that week after spring break. They're going to come home with a sheet of paper. It's a course, enrichment course selection sheet. I ask of you, sit down with them, say, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what courses you would be most interested in. And then make sure you fill it out, get it back to their homeroom teacher, and then they will in turn get it to me, and I'm going to work on that over the summer to honor their requests in the best way that I can. One of the things that is the hardest, and I'm sure I'm not talking to anybody in this room, but every year I end up picking courses for students. And that is hard because one of the goals, again, we wanted the students to play a role, that we wanted the students to take a part in picking the courses. So when I have to take the role of picking their courses, that's just not what was intended. So please, if you would, when they bring that home, sit down, go through the catalog with them. We give a description of every single course and help them facilitate picking the course that would best fit them. So we strive for high academic standards. To highlight a couple of things, we also have additional sports and clubs that you're going to hear more about. There is expectations that if you're interested in a sport or a club, you need to maintain a 70 average. The only exception would be is if you're looking for a support option, such as Failure is Not an Option or Homework Club. Those are open to any student because we want to support them and strive to get them to the spot where they are eligible for any after-school activity. We already highlighted that we have honors math, we have humanities, English language arts. You will hear about required summer and a summer reading packet and math packet, so stay tuned for that information. And now I get to introduce Ms. Thomas, who's going to be representing our guidance department.
Thank you. Hello, good evening.
It was Wacky Wednesday here, so go for it.
So my name is Ms. Thomas. I'll be starting off with the incoming 6th graders, and as Ms. Brower said, I'll be following them all the way through. So we all will really get to know each other very well. So these are just some of the things I will do as a counselor. Consultation about classes, academic issues, crisis intervention, coordination, so I'll work really close with the team as well. Mediation, so unfortunately conflict does happen in middle school, so that will be something that I will talk to them about. Grades, whether they're doing well or not so well, really coming up with the academic plan for them. Lunch brunch, so they will have lunch in 2 separate teams. So sometimes they really like it. They have a best friend from 5th grade who's on the other team. They and their other friends could get together during lunch and have lunch in a smaller environment. Advice giving and counseling is all something that I will do as well. So organization and success, something I will also work really close with the teachers and the team with. So organization will be a very important part, coming from elementary school, now having more difficult classes, different classes. So staying organized will really help them with their academic goals. So using the agenda, we really stress using their agenda, writing down their homework, writing down anything, and that's also something that you could use with them at home. Using the homework on the online, so you'll be able to see the homework they have each night. Keeping the lockers and binders neat, so doing regular locker cleanups, cleaning out their book bag, cleaning out the binders, their folders, everything to make sure that they're organized. Making time for homework, breaking big projects into smaller ones, so not waiting till the night before, but actually coming up with the timeline for their projects. And preparing the night before, so going through their book bag with you, through their agenda, and then when they get to school, they know what they need to do.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. And later on, as we finish this, I will go on, and we've said homework, web, online. Mr. Dwyer's talked about how the pamphlet will be online. I'm just going to show you real quick. I'll bring the school website up. But homework. The bane of every student's existence, which then becomes the bane of every parent's existence. Because as Ms. Thomas said, hopefully you're setting a place aside, time aside, whatever, and we know that time sometimes isn't there. With sports, with scouts, with whatever it may be, it becomes difficult. But we're looking that, yes, pretty much minus before winter break and spring break, there's basically homework every night, all right? We're making sure that the homework is linked to the academic class. It is not just busy work, all right? So that it is something that is going to be hooked into that. And that's even gotten less. We've said no more than 2 hours total. A lot of times it should be about an hour and a half worth of doing so, all right? So that's what you're looking to put them forward for, all right? Now, again, before we get to a little bit more of the nuts and bolts, some of these are common concerns that students have about coming here, which then also, sometimes you also have that concern. Finding their way around. Well, that is why next month we are already bringing them over here. They are going to come over with their schools 3 different days. We're going to have some of the students from 6th grade that came from that school as tour guides for them, answering questions. We kind of do a presentation for them so they can ask things and hear it right from the students, not from the adults who, of course, we're going to say what we want to say or they think they want us to hear, etc. And the first day, all right, it is amazing to me still how on the first day I have numerous parents, can I take them down to the room? Can I do whatever? We're trying to cut the apron strings. All right, it's middle school now. And believe me, on the first day, they're not going to get lost because all of the 6th grade teachers and teams, what they pretty much do is they already adjust that first day schedule. They take them on another tour of the building. The kids will now have their schedules and see that room D16. Well, where the heck is that? Instead of trying to find it on a map, they're kind of walking the whole class, the whole group there. All right, so they're not going to get lost. Locker combinations and issues. Yes, they're going to have a hall locker. The 6th grade hall lockers are half lockers. They are not full height. All right, so there's a bottom locker and a top locker. They very quickly, after day 1, they learn to do the locker dance. We do not have students that get conked in the head because they're down underneath here and someone opens the top locker. Believe me, my nurse, maybe 1 kid a year goes to the nurse because of getting hit with a locker. All right. With that said, that means there can't be a lot of stuff in that locker. All right. 3 winter coats isn't going to cut it. All right, a wheelie book bag, thank you for the word, knapsack I was going to use, which is back in the day. Book bag isn't going to fit. All right, so those types of things have to be. Mixing with the older students is a concern. We've already talked about that. We'll show you when we take the tour that they really don't mix with the older students. It would be on the buses, all right, is basically where it would be. Choosing clubs or sports, Mr. Dwyer talked to you about that. They're afraid of more homework. They have homework in elementary school. It may not be an hour and a half worth, but they have homework. So, and it's related to the classes that they have. The teachers are tougher. No, the curriculum is tougher. All right, as you get older, the curriculum keeps building, etc. It's not that the teachers are tougher, it's that the curriculum and the work is tougher and they've got to bear down and you've got to get on them to do that. The lunchroom, again, we've already talked about. No classes with friends. Hard to do. All right, hard not to have at least one friend in your class. All right, even though it's computer generated, believe me, they're only coming from 3 elementary schools, Parkway, Lower, Antile. Right? We don't have that many classes for them to go to the point when the computer mixes them up. It is not that, okay, this teacher has all of the Antile students, this teacher has all of the Lower students, this has all of the Parkway. It is a nice mix, which also helps them to get to know everyone here in the building. Getting in trouble, of course, we are possibly a little bit more strict with our behavior guide. Again, that's online, so they're worried about ISS, in-school suspension, out-of-school suspension. But I know, and especially since all of you are here tonight, that all of your children, none of them are going to be in trouble there because they are going to abide by every respectful that you have taught them and what is expected here in the school. And Ms. Freeman will speak in a little bit about our SOAR, Safety, Ownership, Achievement, and Respect. Peer pressure. It's always been a concern. It's been a concern from back in the day when we went to school, and it's always going to be a concern, which is why we have the deans, the counselors, etc., to try and help them through that. And having more than one teacher. Some people see that as a negative, all right? A lot of people see that as a positive, because if there is really that one teacher that they, for some reason, just didn't get along, personalities didn't click, all right? It's possibly 82 minutes that you have with them, then you're moving on to a different teacher that you actually really click with, have that sense of humor with, can talk to them about things. So you have more people that your children are able to possibly connect and talk with. All right? And now to Mr. Bonner to talk to us about clubs, sports, and transportation.
Thank you. Good evening. I've been here for 15 years in this building. I've taught 6th grade for 7. I've been in the office for the last 8. I also have a middle schooler about to begin next year at the same time your children are going to begin, not here, a different middle school, but I'm going to get to experience those 3 years with you at the same time. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about clubs, sports, and transportation. We have many awesome clubs here at Fisher, and I highly suggest that you talk to your children about getting involved, finding out what clubs they would like to get involved in. It's a great way to meet friends from other schools and just become extracurricularly involved in the middle school atmosphere. As you can see up here, we continue the Odyssey of the Mind program. Our stage band is excellent. Tryouts are required. We have the World Cultures Club. I'm going to come back to the musical production in a moment. On the right, you can see a lot of the other clubs that we have here: Science Bowl, Bowling Club, Fitness Club, and in the last couple of years we've added 3 intramural sports: flag football, street hockey, and volleyball. I think right now we're doing volleyball and street hockey. And it's something that they have to find out about, inquire about, ask, tell you that they want to be involved. My kid came home the other day and I found out there was intramural sports going on at his school, and I said, where is the signage for that? Like, he doesn't know anything about it. I'm like, well, all your friends are doing it. How do you not know anything about it? So something where you just ask, get involved, go on the website, look things up, have them get involved. Our musical production program here, and I'm biased, okay? I think that the school has so many wonderful things to provide. Our musical production is fantastic. If you get a chance to come out to this year's production in May, didn't we know the date? What, do you know the date yet? First weekend of May, where this year we're doing The Little Mermaid. Let's talk a little bit about interscholastic athletics. So raise your hand if you have a child that plays a sport in Ewing Township, rec sport, okay? Travel sport maybe. So this is the first opportunity that they can have to compete for their school. And competing for Fisher, they would be competing as a Fisher Eagle. And we offer our fall sports, our soccer for both boys and girls, field hockey and cross country. In the winter, boys and girls basketball, wrestling, cheerleading, and in the baseball, right now, baseball, softball, and track. And it's a great time for them to get that taste of what it's like to compete for your school, wear your school colors, and all that ends up transitioning into, do they want to continue to be a student athlete through the high school? It's also a great opportunity to, you know, meet other friends and be part of a team and really have pride in your school. Let's talk a little bit about physicals and paperwork. This is a very important thing. All paperwork for the fall can be turned in after July 1st. A physical is good for 1 calendar year. So if you have a child who's interested in participating in multiple sports and is going to participate in a fall sport, when you complete the full athletic packet, the 24s, what are we up to now?
We've reduced it.
We've reduced it. 17-ish?
I want to say 14 pages.
14-page packet. It used to be somewhere around 24 pages. And once you create that packet and you get it done, you get all that paperwork finished and you're seeing the doctor, make a photocopy of that packet, right? Because then you'll have to trade out some papers for another sport. And it's very important to do that. So you'll have everything done for the year. I think a great time to make the physical appointment is soon as school's out, right? Right now.
Probably now.
Now. Make the appointment and then,
Or after July.
or after July 1st, and have it ready when you come in day 1 of school. All if your child's planning on trying out or participating in sports. Because I've heard the story, I've coached wrestling here, I've coached baseball here. It's 2 weeks before tryouts, and a kid doesn't have his physical, and you know what that's like trying to call a doctor and get an appointment in 2 weeks. So it makes it very hard for the kid to be able to try out.
Mr. Bonner, soccer starts day 2.
And soccer starts day 2 of school. So if you're planning on that, get that physical form over the summer. Let's talk a little bit about transportation differences from elementary to middle school. We do have currently 24 buses that come to Fisher each and every day. That's going to be a little bit different from the elementary setting. We have a very good system for them to find out where their bus is. The buses park out here in our back area all the way by the softball field, all the way at the end of our building, and that extends all the way out to Lower Ferry Road. That's how long the bus line is. They have 2 exits out of the building, 3 exits actually to come out to see where their bus is, and we have wonderful bus boards set up with all the numbers on them in the order that they arrive. So if they can see any one of those bus boards when they exit the building, they'll know exactly kind of what place their bus is in line, whether it's in the middle, the back, or the front, and they'll walk to it. It's a really simple system. They should have no problem with it a couple of days. We honor the student of the months here at Fisher. Each month their names get put out in the main lobby and they receive a wonderful plaque and then an invitation at the end of the year to a Rita's ice cream party or Rita's water ice party. So I've given out a handful of plaques already this year, and the teachers sit down each month. They nominate 1 boy and 1 girl from each team. So it's an excellent program to continue. And at this time, I'm going to turn back over to Mrs. Freeman for honor roll and to take us home talking about our PPS system.
Yes, good evening again. So we are very fortunate. We have this grant called Smart Kids Rule in Ewing. It's a Smarty grant that's funded by our Ewing Public Education Foundation by way of the Credit Union of New Jersey. And it allows us an opportunity to recognize not only our students, but also the families of our students who are honored children. We have recognition assemblies for marking periods 1, 2, and 3. And then in marking period 4, or at the end of the school year, we have our family night, our parent recognition assembly for our children who have made honor roll status. It is a big deal. We are all about positive recognition and just making sure that our children know that it's okay to be smart. Now, we are big on creating a culture here that is safe for your children, making sure that they take ownership of their actions, making sure that they are achieving, and making sure that they are respectful. As you see, our acronym or our governing rules are SOAR: safety, ownership, achievement, respect. And that is a part of the language that your children will hear in the buses, in the hallways, in the classrooms, the cafeteria, the auditorium. These are our 4 basic expectations that they need to apply from the minute they leave out of the house to the minute that they get back to you. This is also another program where we have SOAR bucks, literally have dollars, where when we see your children doing these things, when we see them making good decisions, we like to increase our positive acknowledgement, and we will present them with the SOAR bucks. Now, those SOAR bucks can be used at our school store. They can use, so they should never say that they're unprepared, because our school store is equipped with all kinds of supplies. They can also place these SOAR bucks in our raffle. For instance, this week on Friday, I believe they have a trampoline. What's the place called? Sky Zone or Sky Jump, and the children can put their SOAR raffle bucks in there. A random winner is selected. At the end of the year, we do a big one, like an iPad. When we do Xboxes, we get all kinds of donations, but we really are encouraging our children just to make good decisions. And now back to Ms. Brower.
So Instant Alert, all of you that have children at the elementary school, of course, you know Instant Alert is used. I can say this honestly, but I can't say what will happen next year. I use Instant Alert minimally. It is truly for an emergency or a bus update or some deadline reminder, but not every deadline I am putting out there. Our webpage does a lot of what the Instant Alert is doing for, unfortunately, reminding people, because everyone always has the phone. But I want you to go to our webpage, because there's tons of stuff in there, in the headlines, in the virtual backpack, on the homework page, that you'll then see all the same information, that you don't have to possibly be interrupted at 3:30 in the afternoon or 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever it is, because an Instant Alert is coming out. All right. I do say it is for bus updates. In the beginning of the year, all the students, if they ride FM1, Fisher Middle School Bus 1, all of those kids are put on one list. All of the 2s are, etc. So at the end of the day, if by chance bus FM1 breaks down on the way home, they have to send a replacement bus. You're always used to 3:35, my child's there. It's 3:40. It's 3:45. What's going on? If we get notice that bus FM1 broke down, we're bringing up that list, we're sending an Instant Alert out saying, just to you, not to the whole school, that FM1 is late. There's no reason all 800 people need to know the 30 kids on FM1 are going to be late. Only the 30 parents of FM1 need to know FM1 is going to be late. So those type things are what we will do. We have sports teams have their own list. So if we have rain and soccer game is canceled for today, the Instant Alert is going to the soccer parents. It is not going to all 800 people at 10 o'clock in the morning saying soccer's canceled. Okay, so that is how we use that. Our attendance office. The reason we put this up here is because this is a very big change from elementary school. Fisher Middle School is considered secondary school. And if a student has more than 16 unauthorized absences, they are considered no credit attendance, and they don't pass the class. They don't pass the grade level. Okay? Now, I specified unauthorized. In elementary school, a lot of you have just called in and said, Johnny's not going to make it today, he's got a little bit of a sniffle. And that's been authorized. That is not authorized at the middle school or the high school level. All right? The reason we say 16, we're only in school 10 months. We understand there's going to be a sniffle. We understand you're not going to take your child to the doctor for every little sniffle. So there could possibly be days that you just know your child, you're keeping them home, you're still calling and letting us know. All right? That way you won't get the Instant Alert for being absent, but it's not authorized. So Johnny has 1 day unauthorized. But the next month, he's out, he's got strep throat, you've gone to the doctor, you bring us that doctor's note, all right? He's got 4 days absent, but he's still at 1 day unauthorized. no problem. All right? November comes along, he's got another little sniffle, you keep him home. All right? He's up to 5 days absent, but still only 2 of them unauthorized. All right? So the key is Dr. Dentist note makes them authorized. A funeral makes them authorized, that type of thing. All right? You calling in, we appreciate, that does not authorize it. You writing a note that you kept Johnny home for the sniffle does not authorize it. All right, there's the difference. Tardies work the same way. Still the doctor's note, kid doesn't have to be out for a doctor's appointment all day. All right, the appointment's at 9 o'clock. Doctor could be done at 10, we'll say 11. All right, and you can bring them into school, and then they're only considered authorized for half a day that they are out. So attendance is big. Contacting the school. This whole PowerPoint will be up on the webpage, so no need to have to go through all of the numbers there, but it's easy to contact the school, and this will be up as of tomorrow. I already sent it to my secretary. Fisher Parent Association, they were already out there. Mr. Dwyer said it in the beginning. He said it for a few reasons. I'm going to reiterate it now. A lot of you, parent associations at the elementary level, are very big, very active. All right? You guys are smaller schools than my middle school. Yet, my parent association at the middle school is small. Because a lot of you feel that, oh, well, there's either the teachers, there's enough parents, I've been holding their hand forever now, I don't have to worry about it. All right, but a lot of things, we still need your assistance. The Fisher Parent Association needs your assistance to be able to hold some of these events for the students, so I suggest that you join. Things to remember, all right, one of the big things with the kids, what team are they on, what da-da-da-da, all of that's going to come out probably around the 3rd week of August. All right, it takes time. We are currently working on the schedule already for next year. We're having your children come over soon. We will start putting in their request for the enrichment classes, but we really don't quote what we say, hit the button and do the actual scheduling and revisions of it through July so that we can get things ready for August. All right, so there's a lot of preparation to get ready for hitting the button in July. But this is major. This is my soapbox, and I can't believe it's my soapbox, but it's my soapbox because I never want to see a kid miss the first day of school because something that was so easy to be done was not done. 4 years ago, I believe, when this truly became noticed, it's the immunizations needed by the first day of the school year for if your child's 11. All right, first year, first day 4 years ago. All right, our class was about 280 some students. 110 phone calls went for children to be picked up and could not come to school the first day. Well, they came, but they had to leave. They were in the auditorium until parents came and picked them up. Got better the next year, we were down to about 70. Got better this year, we were down to about 25. I would like it to be none. There is nothing worse than your child with their new backpack, all their nice new folders and pencils and everything ready and raring to go. And as soon as I'm done the pledge and we've talked with the nurse, we're getting over and we're saying, send Johnny, Janie, Jimmy, Joan down to the auditorium, and that's where they sit for the day until the parent comes and picks them up. All right? I don't want any kid at any grade level to miss that first day, that excitement. So, if your child is going to be 11 prior to September 1st, that you need, and you can start dropping this off in July. All right, if your child's already 11 and you've had the appointment, and you get those immunizations and you have that form, drop it off. The nurse works over the summer, she'll get that list updated. All right. This is where I do send instant alerts over the summer. I'm telling you, with 110 kids, that was still after 5 instant alerts. All right. I'm telling the truth. All right. So that needs to be done. Fall sports, we already talked about, starting after July 1st. Please don't go get that physical June 30th. Don't get the physical June 30th if you're going for sports. If the shot record is there, I understand that. But for sports and getting that packet filled out from July 1st on, get your physical, drop it off. Again, the nurse works. She'll mark it off that Johnny's already ready for soccer come the second day of school. All right? Now that I got off the soapbox there, please realize that yes, your child will have a wonderful year here at Fisher Middle School. But I want to show you first, let me bring up the, all right, so Fisher Middle School, we've talked about, I'm just going to put this down, we've talked about the homework center so that you can see, this is the page, and you can see the teams are listed there. So if your child, the 6th grade teams are Discovery, all right, so you click on that, and here's the homework for today. Again, you will also notice that what does this team do? They also give you some updates, all right, and this is one that I would like to, in red, the first one, I'd like to invite all of you to, all right, the New Jersey State Police Digital Technology Investigations Unit. They are going to present for parents internet safety. All right, I believe it was done at the elementary level. There was about 25 parents that showed up. We are going to be next Thursday presenting this to all of our students here, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders during the day. And then the person has a presentation specific to parents to help them understand for the internet safety as well, what things that you should be looking for, monitoring what you can do. All right, so I suggest anyone and everyone, important topic for you guys to come out for. That would be next Thursday evening at 6:30. All right, so you can see that they have that section for notes, but also then as you go down, all right, they have the teacher's name and they're telling you what the homework is for the night. All right, so there is no way that if before you leave work, you want to print this out. And then at 5 o'clock when you get home, Johnny, got any homework tonight? No, Mom, got it all, did it all. Really? Okay, so why don't you show me that quiz or that, what did Miss Canzanella have up there? Can you show me your weather and climate worksheet? You're going to watch the jaw drop, all right, and wonder what the heck's going on. So we actually do this more for you than we do for the kids, all right? But one thing that we have been beneficial with is that some of the teachers have been able to, go back, where did we go? I lost it. Now, something that was neat, I went to the 7th grade, I uploaded this today, and even something that was there for them to see is this teacher right here. Notice she's saying you can listen to the chapter if you can just even click right here, and next thing you know, because our internet has it blocked here, but at home it did in my office, which is not blocked, sorry, and yours wouldn't be blocked as well. But even some of the homework is a click and it's right there. All right, so it is beneficial. It's becoming more and more beneficial for them and not just for you all the time as well. All right, so under the guidance department and you can see this is our headlines. So there's a lot of information. This is where tomorrow you can go and you will find the PowerPoint. There's virtual backpack. There's everything along here. But if we go to guidance department, let's see. If not, then we will know that we have to upload it for tomorrow. And look at that. There we go. Grade 6 enrichment catalog. There is everything rocking and rolling, ready for you and your child to already start looking at after you get through all of our lovely names. All right, and as Mr. Dwyer said, there is explanations for everything there. Band, choir, orchestra. Then we go on to history of jazz. It explains what the child would be learning in the course. Musical technology, etc. So all of this you can already start to look for yourself. Your children will get this information when they come in April. So all of that is along those lines. Did I miss anything?
Genesis.
Genesis. I can only say, I don't know if we can bring that up, it's district home. Genesis is our grading. Mr. Dwyer, why don't you talk to him while I find it?
Absolutely. So as a parent, again, parent of a 7th grader, here's what I do every single day before I leave. So I want to talk to you about 2 different things. What Ms. Brower said about homework. I bring up the Atlantis team. That's the team my son is on. I then cut and paste in an email to myself and to my wife my son's homework. That way, I either am aware of it or my wife is aware of it, so when we get home, we're both
attacking him, I mean asking him about his homework to make sure it's done. So please, that is a great tool for you, really easy. I get it done within 30 seconds, cut, paste, send, easy. The second thing we try to do weekly is to visit Genesis. We utilize Genesis a lot differently than the elementary school. So it is the best tool is that you are able to go on the parent portal, which is one, a communication tool between you and his teachers. Secondly, you are able to get up to the minute grades for your son or daughter. You're also able to see assignments. So if there was a project that you worked diligently with your son or daughter and you're curious to see how they did, was it posted? That is where you'll check. If you worked hard on an assignment with your son or daughter and it says MI, not good, that means missing. So the question will be, son, why is that assignment that we worked so hard on not turned in? So again, it's a great way to hold your son or daughter accountable. It's also a great way to celebrate with them. When they get a great grade, celebrate with them the fact that they got a great grade, and just let them know, hey, I'm checking, I'm looking. Did we get Genesis?
But it's, I'm not logging in.
No worries, the parent portal.
Yeah, parent portal. So.
But please sign up for that. We'll get information out to you to sign up for that. It's a great tool. So the most important tools for you, Homework Center and the parent portal under Genesis. And one other thing that Ms. Brower mentioned, the virtual backpack, other tools that we have. In reference to the immunizations, some of you will forget because life is busy. Some of you will forget to make a doctor's appointment during this month. I understand. We're just as busy. But you will remember in June. And if you're like my son's doctor, if you call in June, they'll say, yeah, we have an availability for a well appointment in September. So what do? You bring in proof that you have an appointment for those immunizations, and we can accept that. We understand that doctors are not willing to see us whenever we want. So we will either accept the proof that they have received the immunizations or an appointment card that they are scheduled for those shots.
Because the doctors won't do those shots prior to them being 11. All right, so that's why I said if your child's already 11 or will be 11 before September 1st, we need the shot record. If they're 11 after September 1st, we need the appointment card that you have. So one way or the other, you have to have either the shot record or the appointment card for your child to start day